for lick 2, we're going to be looking at using some Pentatonic Major, a couple of extra little notes over our dominant 7 chord. So, as I said in the last lesson, this 7 chord, it's a root note, major third, perfect fifth, and then that flat 7 interval. So it gives it that kind of sound. Now, our Pentatonic Major scale, compared to the Pentatonic Minor, as you can probably guess in the name, it has a major third in it. So the Pentatonic Major actually goes a root note, then a major second, then a major third, then a perfect fifth, then a major sixth, then back to the root one again. Now if you're thinking in terms of chord tones, of course we've got a root note, we've got a major third, we've got our perfect fifth, and then we've got this 2, which is effectively a 9th as a chord tone, and the 6, which is a 13th. So there's no flat 7 in there, but what we do have is the major third. So a very common thing in blues and rock is mixing up between pentatonic minor and major to really tap into that minor third, major third thing again that I talked about in lick 1. So if you have got you get that much more kind of a brighter kind of pentatonic kind of scale sound rather than the minor, which is a bit darker because of the minor third. So this is what this lick is doing. It's based around this A pentatonic major with a couple of little extra notes, which we'll talk about. So it starts off with like this. So what I'm doing here is effectively up in like a C form for A pentatonic major scale here. Yeah. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide with the middle finger to 11th fret the G string. That kind of comes in the and of beat 1, so it kind of goes 1, count 1 and then do the slide basically. Then I'm going to do hammer on 10 to 12 with the 1st to 3rd finger, like that. And then I'm going to bend up a whole step. And that's one of the cool things about the pentatonic major scale. It's that ability to have your root note, major second, and then your major third in a row. So instantly when you play that over you get that kind of, bluesy, rock, kind of country kind of tinge to it as well sometimes. So that's my first little bit. Then what I'm going to do is I release the bend, slide up, and do a bend at the 17th fret on the B string, all in one motion. So obviously, playing it slow, I'm going to run out of a sustain there, but like that. So when you're doing the release, just think of, I need to release to move up here, and it's not a slow slide, it's not like it's just basically get to the 17th fret to do a bend. That's the way to think about it. And that's a whole step bend there. And what you're really doing there is you're bending up to the major 6th interval, and that's what the pentatonic major brings us. You're effectively, this backing track we've got, it's like an A7, but if it was an A13 chord, you'd be bending up to a chord tone there. So you're kind of giving that 13th flavour by bringing in that note. Yeah, that's that first little bit. Next little bit sounds like this. So what I'm doing here is just really playing down a G form of an A pentatonic major, which looks a lot like F sharp pentatonic minor, but this is the classic thing about the nature of playing things on the guitar and notes. Yes, it looks like that pattern, but your root notes aren't here. They're here because they're A's. These are all different intervals compared to a pentatonic minor. So when you're doing this, your first finger plays 14th fret in high E. Then you're going to do a pull off, I'd probably use my 4th finger there. Pull off 17 to 14 in the B string, 4th to 1st finger. Then I'll do a whole step bend in the 16th fret of the G string with the 3rd finger. Like that. And that's basically that same bend there, just played in a different position. So we're bending from the 2nd up to the major 3rd again. Yeah. Next little bit sounds like this. I'll take a little group of 4. So what I'm doing here, 14th fret of the B, then 17th fret of this G string here. So that is a minor third interval. So just like when I was playing Pentatonic Minor, I could add in the major thirds to kind of, brighten up a little bit. I can play Pentatonic Major and bring in the minor third to do the opposite, to kind of darken it down. So you've kind of got this ambiguous, is it major minor thing going on. So that gives you that, it sounds really bluesy, you can hear it when I play it. And what I'm playing here is I play 14 in the B, 17 in the G, then a hammer, 16 to 17 with the third and fourth fingers there. And that kind of leads into the next bit, that's, I'll put it together, but that's that bit there. So it's almost like a little chromatic kind of sounding sequence of notes. So that's those 4 notes. Then the next 4 notes go. So you're coming down. So you've just gone. You go back to 14 in the B string. Do 17, 16, 14 in the G. Yeah. So and I use my 4th, 3rd, and 1st fingers for that. So that little sequence there is really nice. It's really bluesy sounding. Really, really good thing to do in a pentatonic major. Yeah. So that's those 4 notes. Then it goes. Next 4 notes, I do 16 in the D, 3rd finger, and then my 1st finger goes to 14th fret of the G. Then do a pull off 16 to 14 in the D string. 3rd to 1st finger there. So if I put that together with that started with, it goes like this. Yeah, so you see we're just sequencing down through the scale. Next little bit sounds like this. Again, it's the minor third comes in there and it gives it that real bluesy rock kind of tinge. And what I'm doing here is I'm going to use my 2nd finger and hammer to the 3rd finger at the 16th fret from the 15th fret. So it goes 15, 16, then I play 14 in the D with the 1st finger. And then I do 16, 15, 14 on the A string there, just with the 3rd, 2nd, 1st finger. And then slide from 14 to 12. And then I end it off by playing the root note. So I'm kind of jumping up an octave from a root note here, but play the root note, 3rd finger on the G string there, and give it plenty of vibrato. Yeah. So that kind of whole sequence is it's just a little stock sequence I've got on my fingers, but that kind of goes like this. Yeah. So it's predominantly pentatonic major. You get the flat 3 in there to give it that kind of nice bluesy kind of tinge. Okay, so the whole thing slow sounds like this.